Welcome back from that break. Let's look at news and business. In business today, a combination of complex ecosystem of policies and fragmented stakeholder environment are affecting Uganda's young innovators' ability to attract project funding. According to a report by Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, a research project that assesses nation's level of entrepreneurial activity, almost 30% of young Ugandans are engaged in the early stages of setting up and running a business. We speak to Paul Busharizi on what these policy gaps are and how to deal with them, and what's trending in the business world of the country.
Yeah, the big news really is that, former Crane Bank main shareholder, Sudiru Parelia, won his day in court against the Bank of Uganda. And very sad, it was on a technicality really, which is sad because the way the judgment was read out, it's as if this case should never have taken off in the beginning. But yeah, that is the big news in the business world today.
So policy gaps are affecting Uganda's young innovators. What say you?
Well, I think what this was said by the owner of the Innovation Village, I think.
Innovation, is it Innovation Hub?
Innovation Hub.
Yeah.
And he was saying basically that what we don't understand in this country seemingly is that businesses do not operate on their own. They have to operate within an ecosystem.
That's right.
And part of that ecosystem comes with support from the government, certain support from the government. He mentioned that, they lost a bid to get $6 million in funding because they couldn't prove connection to a ministry, a relative ministry and stuff. So those gaps in our policy, because essentially if government is very focused on especially employing the youth, it has to make the environment conducive for this. And one of the things to do is make it easier for businesses to set up. One of the ways to make it easier for business setup is to have these connectivities with the business community. So that's a challenge.
Who is supposed to do what? And
well, I mean, in an ideal situation, there should be first of all open communication channels with the business community. So the business community tells them this is what we need. Government says this is what we can do, and government should then therefore be sensitive to the needs of business. I think what he was actually saying in a very diplomatic way is that that connectivity is not really there. So government is not sensitive to what businesses need, and therefore causing problems for innovation and startups. So it's in our best interest as a country and the government to always have their fingers on this innovation to enable it.
Right.
Yeah.
Those people in charge, especially the Minister of Trade, shouldn't it be?
The Minister of Trade, ICT.
ICT, yes.
The whole government, really.
Yeah. Please, don't give up on the youth. They need you to grow, and that you need us to, push forward our country. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
That was news in business. Now for Pearl of Africa series today, we take a look at the legend of River Sezibwa. This relatively small river is found in the southern central part of Uganda, particularly Buikwe district, in a drive of about 40 minutes from Kampala. Its waterfalls, known as Sezibwa Falls, have various activities one can engage in, including camping, bird watching, rock climbing, and the obvious one, swimming. Let's take a look.
Uganda is endowed with so many features, and Sezibwa Falls joins the list of so many of them. When you make a stop at Sezibwa Falls, is a must-recorded visit in your travel diary. The experience, the atmosphere, the nature, the water, the river, the sounds, the birds, and the rocks are among the so many unique features you would love to record in your diary. Sezibwa Falls has an origin. on River Sezibwa stems these falls. This river is relatively small and it is found in the southern central part of Uganda, particularly in Buyukwe district. It has a total of about 150 kilometers from the source to the end. The river's origin is quite interesting. It is connected to the Uganda culture, and the story behind it is that it was born by a Muganda woman named Nankungu Tebatusa, whose husband was in Nsubuga Sebwato. As she made her way to Kavumabukunja, Nankungu gave birth to twins in form of water. One of the twins was River Sezibwa. The name Sezibwa is derived from a Luganda phrase, Sizibwa Kubo, which is, my path can never be blocked. It is further explained that the river's flow could not be stopped even with different obstacles it encountered along its 150 kilometers. And now we have a river. The other twin river is called Bwanda. From this river, then through the rocks, we have Sezibwa Falls. The falls are 7 meters high. Water pushes through the rocks and flows down the bottom. As it touches the ground, it uses excessive force as it is seen splashing. From the cliff, it appears white, but as it settles, it joins a narrow path of brown water. And there it flows and enters Lake Choga in Kayunga district, near the town of Galilaya. The surroundings of Sezibwa Falls are birds of various species, tall trees, pines, huts, and the greenest vegetation. This is a perfect definition of a beautiful scenery. The beautiful view is accompanied by the waterfall marked with sharp-edged rocks and splendid sound of waters flowing down the indented rocks. This brings enjoyment and relaxation as birds and monkeys sing and jump respectively from the surrounding rainforest.
For more Pearl of Africa stories, visit our website www.newvision.co.ug/Pearl of Africa. You can also get more of these stories when you grab yourself a copy of the Sunday Vision. Now for a special report, we look at Kwen's master in growing Irish potatoes. Kwen district has a farmer who's mastered the art of making a fortune in Irish potatoes. 56-year-old Moses Kiptala started growing Irish potatoes at the age of 16 due to the high demand in the country and its neighbors to get school fees. But today, it is not just a mission, but a passion.
Moses Kipler's farm is located in Menja village in Kweni district and sits on 70 acres of land. Kiptala, who is also a farmer trainer, grows Irish potatoes on 35 acres, barley on 10 acres and eucalyptus on 10 acres. He also has maize on 10 acres and uses 5 acres for rearing cows. An established farmer on these hills. But to accomplish all this, the ambition started in 1978 while in Senior 3 in Kenya to feed the demand of Irish potatoes on the borders of the two countries and also to get school fees. When he graduated, Kiptala became a teacher and farming was more of a side job. But this was not more rewarding than if he concentrated on what he saw as another job.
Realized that farming was paying more than even the job which I was teaching. Because the way I used to calculate was that if a worker now works for Saturdays, then you get roughly something like even 300,000. When you divide it, means in a day you are even getting something at average of 10,000. But when I go to farming, sometime when I produce, I cultivate 20 acres of Irish potatoes, you are able to get something like not less than 40 million. But when you divide that into the working days, because I think an employee works for 8 hours. But for me as a farmer, I also work for 8 hours. But when you calculate the output, you will realize that farming pays even more than the employment we are talking about. That's why currently, as we talk, I have really engaged myself in the potato production because it can be produced 3 times in a year.
It was not all profitable when he started farming, but today he enjoys the yields of his hard work.
When I planted at first the potatoes, I used to plant the seed which was not certified. And this seed, it used to ranges from 10 bags to 15 bags. But when I went to the certified seed from Kachwekano, I'm able to produce now 1 acre producing around 150 to 180 bags.
He explains that Kabale breeds are highly yielding. Even the soils of Kweni and Kabale are similar. Roughly 60 employees and their daily income from Kiptala's 70-acre piece of land. They engage in land preparation, land planting, harvesting, among other activities. His family is also actively involved on the farm.
Make sure that there is what we call sustainability plan of the activities that I'm doing in my garden. So the first person who is now in charge, in case I am not there, is my wife. Yes, she has also been assisting me both in management and monitoring. Then other people involved also in this work is my children. As I talk right now, I have about 10 children. Among the 10 children, 4 of them have qualified and they are now assisting me in record keeping and even supervising the work in the garden.
The creative farmer is very aware of climate change and he has a solution.
We used to have only 2 seasons. Season A starts March, then season B starts August, but we have tried to see that when you plant late September, you are likely to end in drought. So we have used the craft flow scheme to make sure that we create another season called season 3. And I think that one has really a lot of advantages. Because one, we have tried to see that we make reserve tanks. And these reserve tanks we harvest rain even during rainy season, so that when it comes dry season, you begin actually irrigating land. And we have seen that it is more economical in terms of the prices, because as we talk right now, I've installed about a distance of about 3 kilometers. I've bought about 30 pipes of 2-inch pipe, 63. And this one brings me, which irrigates about 16 acres at a go.
The market has not been challenging for Kiptala, who sells a bag between 60,000 shillings and 70,000 shillings, and then earns 1.2 million shillings to 1.8 million shillings from each acre per season. There are 2 seasons per year.
Because when you sell to the market, to the hotels, those ones may be needing from 45 to 60, and their prices vary, more especially depending on the time of harvest.
So, where do you get your market?
Yes, as we talk right now, my market has been distributed all over. First of all, we have the local market within Kwen district, Kapchoro district, and a part of Bukwa district. Then the second market, which is bigger, is the market from Bale district. In Bale, we have now organizations like, there's an organization called Bale Potato Dealers Association. In short, it is border. Those are our ready markets. Then for recent, we have also attracted markets from Rwanda. We have attracted also markets from Kenya. And then also we have markets coming from Kampala hotels.
Successful farmers have successful stories. Kaptala has a story.
When I started farming, I didn't have even a single garden of mine, which I call it mine. But as we talk, I have 60 acres which I have bought. I have constructed my house. This is the permanent house. And then my children have gone to school so far. Now I have about 6 graduates. So I feel I have invested. And it was out of nothing, but it's just farming. There's also recognition from the community. The community has learned more from me, and we still need more to join us.
That was New Vision TV News. My name is Lynn Komjisha. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time. I leave you with a fact file.